Printing PDF sewing patterns at home is easier than you might think. Once you know which settings to choose, it's really no big challenge anymore. The best part? You can start your sewing project right away after downloading. There is no shipping and no waiting. In this video, I'll show you how to open, print and assemble your pattern correctly and share some important tips to avoid the most common mistakes. Let's get started. After your purchase, download your pattern and open the Downloads folder. Many professional patterns are delivered as a zip file. It's a compressed folder containing your PDFs and instructions. You'll recognize it by the .zip extension and a little zipper icon. If you open the folder right away, it might look empty. That's because it needs to be unzipped first. To unzip it, right-click and select Extract All on Windows or double-click on Mac. After unzipping, you'll see the regular PDF files ready to use. The latest PrimaRimma patterns are available in English, German and French. Then you'll find A4 files for European printers, US letter files for American printers, and A0 files for copy shop printing. Before opening your sewing pattern, make sure to use a professional PDF reader like the free Adobe Reader. If you open the file on your phone or in a browser, the layers won't appear and you won't be able to select your size. You'll find the link to the Adobe Reader in the video description. Also, make sure to check the sewing instructions to choose the right size for you, based on the size chart and the finished garment measurements. When you open the pattern, you'll see a Layers panel on the side. Each size is on a separate layer, and you can hide the ones you don't need by clicking the little eye symbol. With the latest PrimaRimma patterns, you can also choose between a colored or a monochrome version, depending on your preference and printer settings. Now let's print a test page with the test square first, which is here on page 2. Set your printer to actual size, sometimes called 100% scale or no scaling, and make sure the paper size is set to A4 or US letter depending on your country. This page contains a test square that should measure exactly 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters or 2 inches by 2 inches. If everything is correct, go ahead and print the full pattern. You'll find the print layout either on the first page of your sewing pattern or in the sewing instructions. First, trim the edges marked with the scissor symbols. Technically, you should cut all marked sides, but I prefer trimming only one and leaving the opposite edge for easier overlapping. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. Now start placing the sheets according to the print layout, beginning with A1 to A6, then place row B directly below row A, then row C below row B, and so on. Here you can see it. One side's edge is trimmed and the other is left for overlapping. Now we're taping the sheets together. I prefer using tape, but you can also use glue or any method you like. Work row by row. First tape horizontally. Then vertically. I often get asked what these double lines are. It's simple, they mark the included seam allowance. This way, you can measure the seam allowance directly on the paper pattern while sewing. cut out the pattern along the seam allowance. And that's it. Now your pattern is printed, assembled and ready to go. Happy sewing!